Okay, so I'm back. I put on a jacket so people won't be talking. They're gonna run and tell that. Look at these Angela's showing herself. Oh my goodness. I don't care. I'm at a place now I don't care what people think about me. Because when let me tell you something. When I used to worry about people and the things that and what they would think about me, it didn't make a difference. I would try to be perfect. I would try to do what was right. I would try to do things to please them, stuff like that. And they still thought what they want to think. So now I'm at a place, now I'm 62 years old. You think I'm going to sit back and worry? And think about, okay, let me see. Should I wear this? Should I dress this way? Should I, is they going to like me if I put this on? I ain't worrying about it. You know what I'm saying? Because people going to think what they want to think regardless of how holy you live. They going to still say you ain't holy. You understand what I'm saying? I hope her thing is charged up. She had it charged up from when? Last night? I'm presuming. Yeah, it's charged up good. So, let me just go back to what I was saying about this heat, right? Okay. Now, I'll say back 2020, etc., etc. You know, give or take, right? I would find myself getting, I can't even explain it, but I would get so hot when I would go outside in this heat. But at that time, I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know what was happening to me. You know what I'm saying? This was 183 Brooklyn to where I'm living at now. Not here, where I'm living at now, in the Bronx. So when I got to the Bronx, I was like, why am I feeling this way? You know? I didn't understand what it was, but I couldn't walk too fast. I couldn't go upstairs too fast. And I definitely couldn't stay out in no heat too long. Because I would find myself like going to a place in my mind where I was about to pass out. Right? Let me turn this around so y'all can see me because I'm about to put my stuff. Let me get a plate. I wasn't going to speak to that people. I was like, let me think. I don't know why. Got my little Egos. These are my Egos. And let me check this one. I don't know what they don't come in and rearrange my stuff. Okay, here we go. Okay. But what are you doing this now? So, I'm coming. Let me just put this stuff on my Zabata and what else on. I don't know whether y'all can hear me or not because I'm so far away. Yes, the heat. This is like, I moved to the Bronx in 2019, right? So I can say from that time, I mean, I was feeling it in Brooklyn. I was feeling it where I was living at, Malcolm X, Utica. You know, I was feeling it then, but you know, I'm not one to even complain about my health. I just go ahead and I just pray and say, Lord, you know what I'm going through. Help me to go through. I couldn't even, let me tell you something. This is 183, so yeah, I was suffering from this. And it probably, no, I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to speak nothing on my life now, opposed to what it was based on the way it was last years ago. But anyway, one day, I had went outside. I was outside, my normal thing I'm doing. And I had to come up the steps. And where I was living at, we had to go up like 3 flights. We had 1 flight of stairs, no, it was 2. It was 2 flights, full flight, and about 4 steps between each flight. So I would, you know, I always had to go up and wait, but I didn't think nothing. You know, I just did it normally or whatever. Sometimes I would go up the steps. You know, I won't say run, but I'm a fast walker, so I would walk up there pretty fast. And then when I get up, halfway up the last flight of stairs, I'd be like that, right? And I'd be like, whoa. God is great and God is good, and I thank you for my food. By your hand I must be fed. Give me, Lord, a daily bread. Bless the hand, labor in the hand that prepare. This name we pray, amen. Okay, so I would go up these steps. So this particular day, I went up the steps, and I got midway the first flight. And I don't know what I was feeling. But I know it was scary. It wasn't so much as if I was going to die or something. But it was just these feelings that I had within inside my chest and my body. My chest, no, I didn't have no chest pains. That's why I say anybody that experienced this will know what I'm talking about. But if you ain't never experienced it, then you really don't know. And, you know, unless you're a doctor, you probably really don't know what it is. So, I had to stop because I felt like something was pulling, like all the strength out of me. And I stopped and I was like, oh my goodness. And I didn't want to take it on mentally, because then I would have got scared. I would have started panicking. You know what I'm saying? There was no way for me to reach nobody. Because I don't know what was going on. That's why I always carry my phone with me. I don't play. I make sure my phone is charged up. I have chargers on me. You know, I got my phone set up for emergency contact. I got emergency people in my favorites. So God forbid, I ain't praying for it to happen, and I pray God it never happen. But God forbid something happens, they'll be able to get into my phone. I will prefer to leave it unlocked, but I'm sure that, you know, the emergency got some way of getting in it. So I got so scared. But I refuse to let it take control over me, right? Make me some coffee. Okay. So, oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were seeing me. So, I got scared, but I wasn't going to let it take over me. So I began praying. I said, Lord, you got to help me. I said, help me get in my house to my air conditioner. Now, apparently God knew these things because he always let me have an air conditioner. Always let me have an air conditioner. Let my air conditioner work. So, he took me through that. He allowed me to finish that flight of steps. He allowed me to go up to the 2. And it was just like a pulling in my chest. Like something was like pulling it. It wasn't hurting, but it was like pulling. And it wasn't really taking my breath away. But it was more so like, I don't know, maybe that's fatigue. Maybe that's what fatigue, like you lose all your strength. Right? I guess, I'm not going to guess nothing. I'm speaking about what I felt and the definition of fatigue when I looked it up. So it's all about, I can't remember it, but that's how I felt. Like all my strength was being drained, like pulling from me. So I made it up. I went in the house. I stood there. Once I opened up the door, I stood there. Because remember, I wasn't walking fast. So it wasn't so much that I had to catch my breath. But this is what I would say. It was shortness of breath, right? Like I was having an air quality problem. Like I couldn't get enough air in me, right? But not so much as me having a heart attack and my breath was leaving me. It was more so of me trying to catch breath. So that's I guess that's what you would call, oh, I see it now. Because I was wondering why my cabinets was so fogged up. But the steam comes out and it goes, okay, all right, got it. Because I'm seeing it now. So it was more so not so much as me not being able to breathe. It was more so a shortness of breath. So I wasn't getting enough air to bring, so that I can breathe, and put it that way. So, just turn this around. Oh. I think I still got my cup in here. This morning. Oh, I got some coffee. I don't know whether I should drink this. I guess it's good, man. What you got? Because it's only what? 10? That was 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 5. Okay, so now I made it in the house. I got it to my air conditioner and I was okay. Right? So I suffered from that for a long time. Right? For a long time. So now I get to the Bronx. And during the COVID time, so COVID probably came about like 2018, something like that. And then it lasts to what? 2021, right? I could be wrong, give or take. So now, got my coffee. Okay. So, went on. COVID comes along. You know, I feel it. When I feel that, I stay in the house. If I go outside, there was a couple of times I went outside in the heat and I had to go to the store. At that time, I wasn't going to the store that was around the corner from my house. I was going to the store that was about 2 blocks away from the house. Because I didn't even go to that store around the corner. I don't even think that I knew there was a store around the corner. Because I just stayed in my area of visual. So I could see what's from one corner to another because that's the bus route. So I see what I'm passing on the bus, so that's what I would do. Go to the store that was on the bus route. So I had went walking down there. Now, as I'm walking down there, I can feel what's happening to me. And I began to press the Lord, let me go and get this. Because there was things that I had to do that nobody was doing it or going to do it. I had to do it, right? So every morning I would go out and get my husband breakfast, get my breakfast. And he was well then at the time. When I say well, even though he had a stroke and still got the stroke results, which is paralyzed on the left side, he was able to still walk, without using so much of that leg, but that right leg. But I did what I supposed to do. I have it. It's whatever he asked for, I went and did. So I would walk down to the store, and I would feel the difference, but I would be like, Lord, take me through. Let me be able to make this. Help me to go through this. And when I would go through that stage, I had to make sure that I didn't have nothing heavy. Because if I was carrying anything heavy, it contributed to it, and I couldn't push no further. That's what happened. It would take like my strength, but yet and still I'm not feeling weak. I don't know, I can't explain. This is the best way I can explain. I'm not feeling weak, but I couldn't push forward. So here I am, coming back. When I got midway the block, that was my block, but I was about 400 feet, 800 feet away, I had to stop. And there was no air nowhere. I had to press the Lord, you got to bring some air. I said, Lord, blow on me. I said, you got to blow on me. I said, I need some air. I can't make this. I don't want to pass out because I'm thinking to myself, I said, Lord, if I pass out, I said, nobody don't know me. I said, where my kids is wherever, right? And I hated to show my weakness around my family because I'm the one that had to keep the family together. I had to show strongness, right? So I'm praying. I got to the middle of the block and I had to stop. And my heart felt like I was pulling every part of me was I don't even know how to explain it. So I prayed while standing there, and I felt myself gaining a little strength. That's the best way I can say it, but strength. And I began walking. As soon as I start walking, I guess the fatigue was beginning to take over. It could have been anxiety. It could have been a lot of things that was going on at that time. Because I had just got there, so I was underneath a lot of stress that I didn't even know. My stress had taken so much of a toll on me, you know what I'm saying, that I didn't feel it and realize it until years later. Right? This is 2018. No, not 18, 19, because I moved there 2019. So this is 19, 20, 21, 20. Remember, we in 2025, and I'm still in the Bronx, but, excuse me. But I'm not where I was in the Bronx. And I don't mean by address. I mean as far as health-wise is concerned. You see what I'm saying? And I always say, this is my philosophy of why I had to go to the Bronx. Right? Because I had to run up on the doctors that God had preserved to take care of me. Find my issue. No, I had to go to the doctor. Tell the doctor my situation so the doctor would know what to do through the knowledge of God giving him that to take care of me. And I had to stay there from 2019 to 2024. Right? It could have been 23, but I'm going to say 2024. Summary now. I am where I'm supposed to be as health-wise is concerned. Thank God everything is working out for my good. Thank God all those issues that I had, I don't have anymore. Because God sent me to the place, sent me to the people that he sent to school. So you're going to go to school and you're going to learn about some eyes because my servant is coming 40 years later so that you can take care of her eyes. And I was on the table or in the surgeon chair when something must have transpired where only that surgeon knew what to do. So God picked that surgeon, and this is his words to me. Miss Jordan, if you had been any other place, they wouldn't have knew what to do. So he let me know that the money that his parents spent, or the money that he spent, I'm going to put it like this, the money that his parents spent and he spent, he learned what he needed to know. And God allowed him to have that money to do what needed to be, to learn what needed to be learned, so that when I came along and that situation happened, he knew exactly the tool to use to help me. He said if anybody else would have been there, Miss Jordan, they would not have known what to do. And I'm glad he was there. I didn't even ask him what went wrong. I didn't even ask him, well, what would have happened if they didn't know what to do? I ain't worried about that. Because when I was sitting in that chair and when that situation happened, I knew it happened. Because that's when God took over. And I felt the presence of the Lord on that man doing the surgery for me. And I felt when the Lord moved, Lord have mercy, when he moved and left that man and put him back into his knowledge and understanding of eyes, all I could do was say, thank you, Jesus. In my head, I was saying, Lord, I thank you. When that situation took over, when it happened, I said, Lord, I said, you be the surgeon. I said, you be the surgeon, Lord. I didn't know that something was going on. I didn't have no idea what it was, but I felt it in the spirit. Say, make intercession for you, because you have no idea what to pray for. But the Spirit of God knew what I was going through and had me start praying. Lord, thy will be done. You be the surgeon. And when it was all over, he said, Miss, he said, he called me by my name. He didn't say Miss Short. He said, Sharon, he said, you was very good. You did very good. You did very good. He said, we came against, I'm going to use the word a pickle. We came against something. And he sat me up. I had a patch on my eye. Which eye was it? So it was the left eye. I had a patch on my eye because that was the bad eye. I couldn't see nothing. I was bumping into people, y'all. I was bumping into, I felt so bad. I bumped into this child. And I had to turn all the way around. It was on this side. So I had to turn all the way around like this so I could see the person, because I couldn't see nothing out of this eye. I tell you, I'm telling you. This is why I'm going to serve God, and I ain't going to let nobody cheat me out of my blessing. I ain't going to let nobody cheat me out of my mansion. So he sat me up in the chair, and he said to me, that's when he said to me, Miss Jordan, I keep saying Miss Jordan because that's my name. That's what people normally say. But he called me by my name. He said, Sharon. He said, Sharon. He said, we came up against a pickle. I'm using that word. That's not what he said. He used a medical term, whatever. He didn't want to say problem. So I'm using the word pickle because he used another word. We came across a pickle. But I got it done. I knew exactly what to do, Sharon. I knew exactly what to do. He said, but if you had to win anywhere else, they wouldn't have knew what to do. See, that's how much confidence a doctor had. And that's confidence that God gave him. That's the confidence that God allowed him to go to Harvard and learn all that. Harvard students learn all of that. That's why I had to thank God. But anyway. So he had to take me to the Bronx so I can get the eye doctor, so I can get the dental doctor, so I could get the blood doctor, so I can get the foot doctor, so I can get the heart doctor. These are all parts of the body that God needed. I would tell the Lord, I said, Lord, I need my eyes. I can't read your word if I can't see it. And I was listening to at the funeral today. One of the grandchildren one of the ladies was saying that went to visit her, said that Mother Bibi, her eyes was failing her. She had a, what they call it? What they call it with A mic, no. She would use the thing to make the letters bigger so that she could see the word. And she said that did something for her to let her know that no matter what situation you're in, no matter what's going on with you, God will still provide a way if you want to do it. He'll still provide a way for you to be able to read his word. Magnifying glass. So, today, I'm going to get to one thing so I can move on. I don't want this to be too long of a video. So today, my intentions was to go to the wake and leave and come back home before it got too hot. So, I didn't get out of here till 10:30. God allowed me to get out of here and be able to walk to the train station, even though I felt the heat. And believe it or not, the time that I left here, that was the beginning of the heat advisory and all that stuff. But I didn't even know what was going on. Had me walk to the train station, right? There was elevators there. I took the elevator, got on the train, everything was cool. Walked from the train. Once I got off once I got out the station, I could feel the heat. But, you know, it wasn't really bothering me. The wind was blowing, so it wasn't that humid heat, so I was fine with it. It wasn't doing nothing to me. Went on in. While I'm in there, now I get there like 11:10. So I have no other choice but to stay for the funeral. They had done started. They must have just started. Because I got there in time for the beginning of the program. So, while I'm sitting there, I'm saying to myself, oh my goodness. I said, I wonder if it's real hot out there. So I already had in my head, I'm going to take me an Uber. I was going to stay in the church. I said, if I step out and it's too hot and I feel it, right? Because normally when I step out into the heat, I can feel it, whether I'm be able to take it or not. I said, if I step out and I feel it like that, then I'm just going to go back in the church where the air is, and I'll call my Uber like that, right? But once the service was, once the service was over, because they didn't do another viewing, final viewing. I'll be honest with you, I don't know why they do that, but to each his own. They wanted to do it with my daughter. I said, no, we're gonna do, you want another viewing? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Okay, so, well, you don't really have to, that's what I want. That's my daughter, and that's what I want. Because there may have been people that did not make it for the viewing. So I want to give them the courtesy to have give their last respects to my daughter. And I want to give my last respects. I want to see, I would love to see her face every single day. So how dare you tell me what to do with my daughter? You know what I'm saying? People got a lot of nerve. You know, and at that time I was at a place, this is 2013, this is my child died. So my husband had just got here 2011, 12/30, so he'd been here 2 years that he didn't spend no time with her. You know? But anyway, so I didn't get a chance to see her. But I don't worry about that. I did my respects. I didn't get a chance to talk to the daughter or whatever, you know, because I didn't know her daughter. I knew of her daughter, let me put it that way, because we live right across the street from her, and I used to go over there and be with her and stuff like that. You know, they picked out people who they wanted to say something to. They wanted people to say stuff. My brain is going faster than my mouth, so let me slow down. They had picked the people that they chose to say something, you know, in that acknowledgement of her, you know, and that's understandable, you know. That's something that I guess they due to the time, you know, due to the time that you choose when you go. Since I buried somebody, you can pick your time depending on how the funeral parlor is. That's why I had her funeral at night. I had it on the Friday night. That way I had the whole night. We could be there all night if we wanted to. And she got buried that morning, you see? So when you have a funeral, I guess, I just don't know this, but I'm saying, and I think the funeral lady did tell me, say, being that it's your daughter, you want the funeral during the day? I said, yeah, I want to do the day. He said, but you have to think, just think. He said, if you have it during the day, you're only going to have a certain amount of time, and then you have to end it because you got to go and bury her all in that one day. She said, or do you want to have it a night funeral or afternoon funeral? And then you can take the whole night, however, like up to 9 o'clock, or whatever the case may be, you know, based on what time the funeral parlor come. If the body is coming back to the funeral parlor, that's the key. If the body is going back to the funeral parlor, then you have to go by their time. But if you have a place for the body and the body's going to stay there, then you can have it all night. As far as they're concerned, they don't care. Thing is that when they come to pick up that body, they got to pick up that body at a decent hour that morning. So it was like 7 or 8 o'clock. My pallbearers had to be there about 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, because the hearse was coming to take her body, and they had to take her because, you know, you can't stay out too long, especially not in no heat. But that wasn't heat. She died in December, so it was kind of cold. But anyway, so I guess when you have a funeral like now, like morning funeral or something like that, that time is based on that funeral parlor. It's not based on the person, family, or something like that, you know? And especially if that undertaker has another funeral to do with that day. And that's some things that was brought to my attention with my daughter. The lady said, well, it depends on the day, you know, because they get their schedule, you know, of who they going to do within the time span. And I was one of them. So she put me the last person. She put me the last person. But anyway, with that being said, so they didn't have a viewing. So I didn't make the viewing, but I did get there to make the service. I did not want to be there for the service, to be honest. But hey, God is in control of my life. I had to get there because who knows, maybe my bishop and them did. I'll find out later on when they got there. Because they could have got there like maybe a few, I don't know. Knowing my bishop don't play. The service at 10, the wake was at 10. He probably was there at 9:45. He probably was there at 9 o'clock. But hypothetically speaking, it's a possibility. I'm just thinking that maybe he got there like I did. Maybe about 10 minutes before I got there. So I had to go the time that he went, because who knows, maybe if I had got there at 10 o'clock and left, it would have been so, oh, you didn't even show up. You didn't stay. Oh, I was there, but you didn't stay for the funeral. You talk about that show, God. You know, you never know. You never know. I'm just hypothetically speaking, but you never know what people think. So with that being said, I'm in the church. Okay. Where I be out gave to do this. So I went to the bathroom, go to the bathroom because I got water. I got to walk to the train station. It was just a block to the train station, but that train station did not have an elevator. And you had like, I counted the steps over here. It's 25 steps. So if each of the train stations on the Broadway block is 25 steps, that's a lot of steps for me to be walking in this heat. So I came out, I spoke to some pastors and stuff. And I started walking. When I started walking, I started feeling it. It wasn't as intense, but as I kept walking, it started getting intense. Now I can explain what that feeling was. I was beginning to get shortness of breath. All the pain that I used to have in my heart or whatever, not my heart, in my chest or whatever, I didn't really have too much of that, but I could feel that I wasn't getting enough air, intake of air, for the speed that I was walking. And I kept saying to myself, I said, just slow down, Sharon. But then I was beginning to feel the heat. And I was like, no, I can't. But I did my prayer. I said, Lord, help me. And it seemed like when I did my little prayer, it looked like I feel a relief in my body. But it still was I still was getting the warning, you need to go someplace with some areas. So at the corner of the block, there's a firehouse. So I was saying to myself, well, maybe I can go in the firehouse. But then when I turned, there was a liquor store. And I'm going to tell you something. See, this is another thing. This is a good example. Okay. This is a good example I want to tell y'all. Something was brought up in our Bible study. Not the one I'm teaching. This is a while ago, some years ago. And the question was brought up, being saved, would you go in a liquor store to get some water? If you wanted some water or needed some water, no, I don't think they use needed. I just think if you wanted some water, would you go in a liquor store to get some water? And that's the only thing there. That's the only place that's there to get to get water. Would you go in there? Everybody said no. No, you saved. You ain't got no business going to no liquor store. What if somebody saw? What if something? Now here's the key. What if somebody saw you coming out of the liquor store? Now my salvation is tainted. Now everybody think I'm a drunk. This is all about what people think. It wind up going to that, but it started off with the no, saved person ain't got no business going in the liquor store, right? Here go me. You know me, I'm a challenger. Wrong or right, prove me wrong, prove me right. Because I'm going to prove you right. I'm going to prove you wrong. So now, here I go. They came to me. Well, what you think about it, evangelist? I said, honestly? They said, yeah. Yeah, what else you think we talk about? Of course, honestly, we want you to lie. All right. I just want to make sure that it's honestly. Because I ain't going to tell you no lie. If I needed me some water, and it was a matter of life and death, I'm going in the liquor store. They was like, well, wait. No. You did not say if you needed it. You just said if I wanted some water and there was no other place to get any water, would you go in the liquor store? If that's the only place there. So I'm letting you know, y'all may not like my answer. I really don't care. This is a question for me, and I'm talking about my well-being right now. So if I'm walking out there and I come to a moment in my life where I need me some water in order to get through this moment that I'm in, and I look and say, they're going to look so, oh, Lord, forgive me. But you know I got to go up in here to give me some water. You think God going to tell me I can't get in heaven because I'm looking out for my health? You see what I'm saying? There was no no brooks. You see what I'm saying? Like he told Moses to go and hit the rock or however it was, you know? I don't see none of that. Maybe I'm looking for that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not in that moment, so I'm just hypothetically speaking. I'm looking for the brooks, Lord. I know you could provide me some water. I don't see no brooks, so I'm gonna pass the liquor store because he just provided me some water. Because I know that the liquor store got some water. I know he does. Just like he got some liquor, he got some water, and he got some ice. So I'm gonna go inside that liquor store, and I'm gonna walk up to the bar. And I'm going to say, excuse me, sir, I'm feeling very posh. I cannot make it no further. Do you mind giving me a glass of ice water? He probably saw it all over my face, about to pass out from lack of oxygen. Yes, ma'am. Here go your water. I'ma drink that water. I don't care if it's crowded and the music playing sky high. It ain't got nothing to do with me, and it ain't got nothing to do with my salvation. God is still in me. So you ain't telling me because I walk in the liquor store, he done left me. If I walk in that liquor store with the initiative, is that the right word? To drink, now he may leave me. But I went in that liquor store with the initiative to get well, to get what my body needs. You see what I'm saying? He give us sense enough to take care of ourselves. So therefore, you telling me that you sick, you got all of a sudden sick, and you need some water. You call the doctor, you call the ambulance. Ambulance man tell you, listen, find some place where you can get some water and drink that till we get there. Or that should make you feel better. You look around and you only see the liquor store there, you gonna die? You just committed suicide. Yes, you did. Suicide is taking your own life when you got a choice not to. That's why God do not forgive people when they take their own life. Because before you leave this world, after you decide that you want to take your life, God puts in your head the choice to not do it. That's why it takes a whole lot of guts to put the gun to your head or underneath your throat and shoot your brains out. Because that is not what God wants. So God, even his infinite mercy, is trying his best to save that person from taking their lives. So now you got a choice to go get some water, and you prefer not to go in the place because you worried about somebody saying something if they see you. But when you look around, you don't see nobody but yourself at that liquor store. When you go in the liquor store, you ain't going to make no friends. You going to get you some water. I'm going to go drink that water. Thank you very much. And who is to say God may open up the door with somebody in the liquor store take me with? Well, how far are you going, ma'am? Oh, well, I got a couple of miles to go. Come on, I'll take you. Now I ain't got to worry about and maybe the bartender go underneath the whatever it is, the bar or whatever, and give me like 2 bottles of water. Here, take this water with you. And make sure you keep water with you when you traveling. So this is my answer. I told him this is my answer. So now, with that being said, right? Me feeling the way I was feeling today. When I turned that corner, the first store I saw was a liquor store. And I said to myself, I said, I'm going to have to go up in there. Because I'm thinking, would that liquor store have air conditioner? But I'm here to tell you, I used to live in this area, and the liquor store is still there. Maybe not the same owners, but the liquor store is still there. And I don't remember no air conditioner in there. So you know what happened? Let me tell you how good. This is why I say God make a way, right? The difference between the scenario of what the person asks, where there's nothing there but that liquor store, compared to today, next to the liquor store was a grocery store, a deli. I said, well, you know what? I was turning. I was getting ready to go. When I got ready to go in the liquor store, there was some gentlemen standing there. And they was looking at me. I was like, I don't know. I don't think I want to go in there, Lord. I don't think I want to go in there. And then I looked up. I said, oh, they're going to definitely go in there. I know they got some air conditioner. And when I opened up the door, bam, the air conditioner hit me. And I felt my hand was shaking. I couldn't even get my mind together to find the app, the Uber. And once I found the app of the Uber, I couldn't think it. I couldn't even click on it. You know what I'm saying? And those guys that were standing in front of the liquor store came into the store to get the same air that I came in there for. And I'm trying to get myself together. And I called my Uber, and my Uber came and picked me up. So God will make a way. The song say, I know the Lord will make a way. Oh, yes, he will. Oh, yes, he will. Go to the next video.